You're watching Public Affairs. Berkowitz is my name, and politics is our game, and we will be doing politics this evening because we have as our guest Larry Suffredin, who is a Cook County board member or commissioner. He has been there 7 years,
7 years,
8,
yep.
And he's going to be running for Cook County board president in the 2010 Democratic primary. It's a crowded field. The current president, Todd Stroger, apparently is running, we think, for re-election.
Well, he seems to say he is, but he certainly shouldn't be re-elected.
We'll talk more about that later. We don't know if you can be the fair and balanced and impartial judge of that.
Yeah, well, I hope that I represent the mindset of the people of Cook County.
Alderman Tony Preckwinkle is also running, as people with regular viewers would know. They've seen her here on this set. Clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County, Dorothy Brown, is also running in that Democratic primary. She, of course, is also here on the set previously. Congressman Danny Davis from the 7th Congressional District is running. We have not seen the Congressman on this set yet. We'd like to see him soon, as we would the president of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District.
That's right.
Terry O'Brien, and that's a field of 6.
That's right.
All right, so you're fired up and you're ready to go.
I am. You know, it's a similar field to what I ran 2 years ago in the state's attorney's race, and 6 candidates is always difficult. And 4 of these people are really good elected officials. I'm glad to be on the platforms with them. The only one I'm not is Todd Stroger, who I think the whole purpose has to be to replace him and get him out of office.
That's your emphasis, getting Todd out of office.
Right. You know, I've spent the last 3 years trying to deal with how to maintain this government with Todd's lack of leadership. I mean, he is just not engaged at all in running this government since he came. It's really he was given a great opportunity, and it's a great tragedy for all of us that he chose to give away his authority to underlings and to not use it for good.
But when Todd came in here and he raised the sales tax, and people are still talking about it, and we'll talk about it a lot during the show, you were with him. You gave him that tie-breaking vote to raise the sales tax. Yeah, I know you traded for something. You think you got something?
No, I wasn't with him. Todd wanted a 2% sales tax. Todd wanted a gasoline tax, and Todd wanted a parking tax. I negotiated and got this down to a 1% sales tax at a time when the county had a $283 million deficit. We were in worse shape proportionally than the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois are in today. What I did is I figured out what it would take to stabilize this government and then to take away from Todd 1/3 of the spending, or $1 billion worth of spending that was the Bureau of Health. And so we got a 1% sales tax, and I said at the time that it was necessary to stabilize the government, but when we were out of the woods, that I would be pushing to repeal it, and I have been pushing to repeal it.
You said that?
Yeah, I did at the time.
You got that you can flash out in the web.
Go to my website, you'll see my statements.
Was it quoted in the Chicago Tribune? Was it
well, the Chicago Tribune has a different bias against basically Democrats, and basically
against Democrats.
You know, I joke about.
Come on, there are many Democrats they've endorsed.
Well, name anyone other than President Obama.
President Obama, for,
yeah, well, okay.
president.
Yeah, the first time that they've done
legislative
it.
races,
well,
for congressional races.
But let's go back to the Tribune. Let's go back to the Tribune. The Tribune. If you go to my website, you'll see I have one of their editorials, one of the longest editorials they ever did about county government, which said, "Get the independent health board. That's how you stabilize the patient." That's what I did. I followed their advice when I voted for that sales tax.
Well, I don't know that they said go ahead and trade away and raise the sales tax.
Well,
in place of that, but you know that
it's a living process.
That has a lot of employment effects and jobs, which are jobs as businesses. You know, the Tribune has said that sales tax has driven business out of Cook County.
Definitely not true.
It's,
you know,
it's not true.
If you look at cranes
so
and people who,
tax.
what I'm saying is it is not the reason that we have a recession going on here in Cook County and Illinois. If you look at cranes who's analyzed the sales tax in Cook County versus the collar counties, we are basically dead even with DuPage County. We are doing better than Lake County, and the only county that we are behind on sales tax, a year-to-year comparison, is Will County, where they had an influx of over 100,000 new residents because they're the fastest growing county. Well, when you look at our percentage of decline in sales tax revenues across the country compared to the country, we are very, very small compared to what the national average has been. So we are not doing as bad as people say on the sales tax.
What's the sales tax? Excuse me, what's the sales tax in Lake County?
Sales tax in Lake County is 7.25%.
So,
but why did it lose?
What is it in Cook County now when you buy
10.25%.
So you pay 3% more if you stay in Cook County. If you go over the line to Lake County, you save yourself 3%. That's a fair amount of bucks on something that's a $500 item, right? So people are doing that. You would
no,
that.
I'm saying they aren't, actually.
They aren't.
If you go and talk to the apps and to the larger retailers, you'll find that they believe that we're holding our own in comparison to the national average. But that's not the issue. I mean,
why do you favor the repeal?
Because we don't need the revenue now. Okay. A government has to have a certain amount of revenue to provide the services that people need. Once you obtain that level of service and have enough revenue, you don't just tax people to build up surpluses.
You favor the entire repeal?
I did. I voted for the first repeal.
So we needed the revenue last year or 2 years ago, but now we don't.
That's exactly right.
Because?
Because of two things. One, what we did is we stabilized the Health Bureau, which is where the $283 million deficit came. We put this independent board in charge of it. They've hired for the first time a trained health administrator. We have in 1 year had a $280 million turnaround in cash flow just for that operation. They took care of it by good management in 1 year.
No, but they're just now starting to get regular financial reports. You know that. I know that, and everybody watching the show knows
They're getting the regular financial reports, but what they did is they went in and with a good management team, and Warren Batts is an excellent chairman.
Dorothy Brown doesn't say they've been
Well, Dorothy Brown doesn't.
Tony Preckwinkle just says they're
you know what? The two of them don't know anything about county government. Dorothy Brown is a state official. She runs an office that's a fee-based office. It's filing fees, it's fines. That's how that office is run. She doesn't know anything about the revenue collection of Cook County.
She can't read?
And she doesn't.
She can watch
her show, but she's never been involved in any of the discussions.
But she can learn whatever.
Well, sure, you can learn, but
the board was astounded to find out they weren't before that. The prior senior management, whatever that was, wasn't getting regular financial reports.
No, we weren't astonished by that. We knew that, and we tried to get them.
The board was astonished. The board was astonished.
Well, the new board was, but we knew that. That's why we needed the new board. You see, the only way that you can stabilize a government is to put the right people in charge. And the right people in charge are there. And that's where the turnaround's been. And that's why we don't need the sales tax today. We can repeal the entire 1% of the sales tax.
You're collecting that much more money now from the
Absolutely.
How much more did you collect this year than last year?
$283 million more in 1 year. Now, that's a combination of two things. Yeah, that's a combination of collecting and sending out bills and collecting, and two, the Obama stimulus package on Medicaid.
You got money from Barack.
On Medicaid. Well, on Medicaid, it's a very different thing. Yeah. Those are programs that are ongoing. Yeah. We were in the perfect position.
Obama just signed this.
No, but we had to have the right programs to be there. This isn't just sending a check. This was their management getting the right things there. So we can repeal the 1%, and we did. And President Stroger vetoed it. We had 12 votes to repeal. We ended up only having 10 willing to override the veto. We then repealed 0.75%. We got 9 votes to override that repeal when he vetoed it. Now we have repealed half the sales tax, and again he has vetoed it, and on September 1st, we hope to override him. We had 14 co-sponsors, including Commissioner Maldonado, who's now become an alderman, who has promised all of us that whoever his replacement is, that person will vote to override the veto.
So does Maldonado appoint the replacement? He doesn't.
He is one of the key committeemen, right?
But he can't guarantee that.
He has a 25% stake, so it means we've got to come up with it. Well, I think that the other committeemen there are of the same mind. If they give Todd Stroger that vote, then the Democratic Party, the Central Committee of Cook County, has basically said to the people, we don't care. and then anybody they endorse shouldn't be supported by the people.
Then they can elect somebody in the general election who calls himself or herself a Republican, right?
They can elect whoever's going to give them the best thing. I don't think a Republican can ever be elected because the Republican primary is so far to the right that whoever would win it is not going to be able to deal with him.
Do you know Roger Keats?
I know Roger Keats. And Roger
Former
Keats
state senator?
Roger and I have been friends for a long time. Roger is extreme right.
In what
he
sense?
will not be a moderate.
Give me an example.
He is an extreme conservative.
Give me an example. Just say, and what causes you to label somebody an extreme
I worked with him when he was in Springfield for a number of years.
Just give me an example.
I mean, he is not in favor of the kind of health care that we need to have for 1 million citizens who are going to our health care.
How do you know that?
He is not in favor of taxation because that's his philosophy.
You talked about it with him 20 years ago?
I talked with him earlier this year.
And what did he say? He's not in favor of helping
don't talk about my conversation with him. Let's talk about what I'm here for.
No,
I'm here to make sure. I'm saying there will not be a Republican who can win. If Paul Vallis had run, that might have been their best shot.
Vallis couldn't have won?
No, I said he might have been their best shot.
Because he wasn't a Republican.
Yeah, really wasn't a Republican.
Now he's a Republican, but he says in a sense he's always been a Republican fiscally.
That might be whatever he says is what he cares about.
So Vallis
but I don't think a Republican will win in this county. We just had a recent survey that showed this is one of the most Democratic counties around. No Republican, I think, will win. In fact, I think we may pick up, of the 5 Republican seats on the county board, we could pick up 2 or 3 of those seats in this next election with good, strong. I think Greg Goslin's district is one where there's a good chance. I think Liz Gorman's is a good chance for us to do a pickup. And Pete Silvestri, his district is always right on the border of being a Democratic district. So I think all 3 of those seats are in jeopardy if I were in the Republican Party.
Do you think any Democrats maybe could lose their seats?
I don't think that any would lose to Republicans, but I think that we have, I think Murphy and Sims and Steele are subject to some very severe primary challenges.
Because of their support for the sales tax.
Their support for Todd Stroger.
But their support for the sales
Todd
tax
Stroger is what they were supporting.
So you're this is
See,
we're making news. Everybody watching this, I mean, stop and think. You watch public affairs for one reason, because we make news. Because you're making news. Because most people thought this Cook County board race was going to be about, at least in part, some would say in large part, the sales tax increase. And you're saying it's not an issue. You're thumbing your nose at the Chicago Tribune right here as you speak to me.
The Chicago Tribune is at this point maybe not even in business by the time we are in
So you're writing off that endorsement.
They're not going to endorse you. The Tribune's not going to endorse me. They've already said it 14 times in editorials. The Chicago Sun-Times probably isn't going to endorse me.
Because of your support for the
nobody's reading them, Jeff. Nobody's reading them.
Well, come on now.
Nobody is reading them.
In the suburbs. The Tribune's important in the suburbs. The Sun-Times is
important
in the
suburbs.
The Sun-Times is important in the south side of Chicago.
They were important in
the
African American community. They may not be in business. Newspapers aren't the issue. The issue are what is in the best interest of the people here. What gets the best service? What gets the most fair taxation? What we are about right now is trying to figure out how to present to the electorate, the people who care, the 1 million people who are now getting their health care at our system. We've had almost a 200,000 person increase in the last year in primary care patients in the Cook County healthcare system. That's caused by this bad economy. You know, in New Trier Township that I represent, I went to a meeting with their officials. What are they talking about? Expanding their food pantry. We have poverty all around us because of the economy.
We have more unemployment in Illinois than the average in the country.
Exactly
you
right.
Understand that.
And that's what people have got to do. And that's why we've got to reduce the sales tax. That's why I've been pushing it. Once we stabilize the government.
Now we have to reduce it. You didn't mind raising it. But
I stabilize the government.
It's not doing anything to hurt the economy, and now you're saying it is?
No. I'm saying, I said to you that you never collect extra revenue. You don't build up surpluses. We don't need the sales tax today. We needed it a year ago. We don't need it today.
Maybe if you didn't raise it a year ago, the economy in Cook County
Cook County would have gone bankrupt. Cook County would have failed. We wouldn't have the ability of the sheriff to be out at Burr Oak trying to do those investigations because we wouldn't have the revenue.
What's the unemployment rate in Illinois right now?
It's a little over 10. I think it was
10.3%. What is it in the nation right now?
I don't know.
9.4%.
Okay. So we're doing worse.
Why does Illinois do worse? Does it have anything to do with that there is a Democrat in the governor's chair?
There's nothing to do with who's in there.
The Democrats run the state Senate. The Democrats run the state House.
It has to do with
the Democrats run the majority of the congressional
delegations. It has to do with it that for 15 years, the state government has been unable to really put forth a plan for how to have a budget that works and taxation that's fair.
The last 7 years?
We should have had a constitutional convention because we would have changed the revenue article. The fact that we
So
have
you want to
a
raise
flat
the, you want to
income
raise
tax.
the income tax?
No, I didn't say I want to raise any.
You want to permit?
I'm saying that the
Constitution.
unfairness of the current tax in the revenue article makes it impossible for this state to ever recover whenever there is an economic downturn.
What do you mean?
We have the slowest recovering of the 5 big states because we don't have a progressive income tax. We do not have a sales tax that is reasonable. The base of our sales tax, I have been pushing for a long time, I agree with Senator Meeks on this, that if we broadened our sales tax base, we could lower the rate significantly.
But you also want to tax the rich. You want a progressive tax?
A progressive tax. Look, we're all the rich. There are a lot of us out here who have incomes who could afford to pay more in income tax than we do. But we've got to get this to be a fairer system.
Which income level would you start raising income taxes at?
I think a progressive income tax, which is what the federal system
but which
is.
income tax would you say group should pay a higher tax? 50,000, 100,000?
I think that you
said
start.
So.
I think you start at 85,000, which is the salary of a county commissioner. I think from 85,000 on, you should be able to.
You're telling people out there, people earning 85,000 or more, our viewers, they should be paying more taxes.
They should be paying more income tax, so they should
Larry,
be paying less property taxes and less sales tax.
That's not a prescription to win this race.
Well, the prescription to win this race
is
to put together a program in which the people get the services they need, and those services are fair assessments, they are fair sales tax, they are property tax reforms that protect the schools having the revenues they need. That's what the county board president's got to do.
You're running for Cook County Board President.
But I collect the taxes at the Cook County for all those schools. We assess the property taxes.
Are we
by
missing
Cook
money
County.
that we're not? We pretty much collect in most areas 80, 90, 95, 100%.
Well, but the distribution isn't fair.
Right
now, you have some people paying too much.
That's something Springfield could change. But
well, they could.
You're not running for governor or state legislature.
I'm running for president of the county board. Here's what the objects of the president of the county board should be. One, to put together a fair budget with a reasonable revenue source. And right now, we don't have a 2010 budget in the works.
Let me just, what's the spending level for the Cook County board right at this
$3.2 billion.
$3.2 billion. How many employees are there working?
Right now, there are a little over 24,000. There probably should be down.
500, right?
Yeah, there should be down to about 22,000.
Would you take a pledge right here? We're taping this show on August 9th, 2009. Take a pledge. If you become Cook County Board President, you will do everything you can to push down the number of employees to 22,000.
That was my plan from the beginning. I've been trying to do that now.
So you're taking that pledge right now?
Right. Look, it's not a pledge.
Could you go further?
It's what I've been working on. You see, in this budget,
in
this last budget, I pushed the Cook County Independent Board, Hospital Board, to cut 740 jobs, okay? Now, we ended up, in the overall budget, only cutting 540 because what we did is we cut over 700 and then we hired back 200 medical essential personnel to be able to provide services so that we could get those federal dollars.
The Cook County Health Bureau cut 500 net. Is that what
That's
you're saying?
right. And that's the only place, in the last budget, in the one we're living under this year, that's the only place where there was a cut in headcount in Cook County. I will continue to work to do those kind of things to get us down to the reasonable level.
Is Stroger Hospital run efficiently now?
I think that Stroger Hospital is, for the first time, run by a professional health administrator in Bill Foley and by a board that knows what they're doing. And I think for the first time we are on course to say it is being efficiently run.
Are there waiting lines for mammograms, or are they getting the mammograms in a timely basis?
They are working on every one of the issues that exist out there. One of the things that happens.
It's not yet.
We were at 800,000 patients, and within the last year we've picked up 200,000 more patients. Those patients are caused by this economic downturn. The more patients we get, the more we need to be adjusting the system. I believe right now that they are being
the more you need to get the patronage off other areas into
exactly right. When you talk about what I said, you cut 700 jobs and you hired back 200 medical personnel. Those were 700 patronage jobs we got rid of. Mm-hmm. Those weren't jobs that were medically essential.
Todd says, he sat in this chair, President Todd Stroger, he says, those are anecdotes people throw out. They can't make a case.
Todd Stroger doesn't know what's going on with this government. He hasn't been engaged since day one. I went to 32 meetings with him before the guy took a note. His last budget, he didn't even understand the numbers in it. When we were at the 283 million.
Could you identify the people who shouldn't be working for Cook County OR? Could you give us a list of 100, 200, 300 people?
We can show you where.
How many?
Take the highway department. When President Stroger hired his bus boyfriend, he put him to work at the highway department.
Who was that, Tony Cole?
Tony Cole, I guess is the guy's name. I've never met him.
The guy who Donna Dunning's bailed out?
Yeah, that's who we're talking.
What happened to Donna Dunning's?
I know she's
Why
somewhere.
was she fired?
as president. And why did he do it at 1:30 in the morning?
You were there at the board
I
meeting.
called
You were there at the
him.
board meeting. Did you speak out?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
I
And
saw Tim Schneider.
I called
Tim
him for his
Schneider-
resignation. Tim Schneider.
He got a promise that he was going to be told.
Oh,
You
but-
sat there. You didn't say anything.
Well, no,
and
wait,
he's
no,
never
that's
been
not
told
true.
anything.
That's not true. That's not true. I said to Tim, "You're a fool. You're a fool for taking a promise from him. We have this public
Why did
forum."
you speak out and say that then? Did you say
I
that
called
then?
for
At
Todd's
the meeting?
resignation at
At
that
the
meeting.
meeting?
At the meeting. I've been calling for his resignation ever since the 1:30 in the morning call to Chicago
Did
Tribune.
you ask for an explanation as to why Donnie Dines was
Absolutely,
fired?
absolutely.
And what did,
She's
what did
chief
the president say to you?
The president has given us no explanation, okay? And he's now made an interim chief financial officer. Unfortunately, the law doesn't allow us to do advise and consent on interim financial officers. These are the reasons why Todd Stroger has to lose.
Should there be a Cook County Regional Superintendent of Education?
No. There shouldn't have been one to begin
Todd
with.
says you need it there for regional certification.
The state
He
can
says
do that.
he says there's somebody on the Cook County board. Was it Goslin who said he got certified there by that
Yeah,
person?
Goslin
Is
said
that
he
right?
got certified by
So
that.
is Goslin wrong? Is Stroger wrong?
A teacher needs to be
Who would it-
certified.
so-
The State Board of Ed can do it. We do not need a regional school superintendent. This fella who took the job, unfortunately, ended up not having any administrative skills. But that wasn't even
So
one
you
of
saved
our
money
functions.
from the job, and of course, then the Cook County government lent the regional
We lent it
superintendent's
to him
money,
because at the
and then
time
he
we were told that
embezzled
our
it.
school
it's allegedly
district.
embezzled, right?
Well, it's missing, and the state attorney's
Did you
investigating.
support that? Did you vote to make that loan?
Oh, I voted to make the loan because we were told at the time that this was essential to our school districts getting the certification
Who
they
told you
needed.
that? You said
The
we were
State
told.
Board
Who
of
told you that?
Education
In
told
writing,
us that.
in writing?
No, we made phone calls that day.
You made phone calls? And
Yes,
you,
absolutely.
You corroborated that?
Absolutely.
Who'd you corroborate it with? Who should be on the line here? Because somebody told you a lie, didn't they?
No, they didn't tell me a lie. No. It was essential to keep those certifications going at that time. The lie was that he said he would pay us back. He never paid us back. They were providing certifications, but then the office,
But couldn't
about
you
6
say
or 8 months
somebody-
later,
you said
stopped functioning.
Somebody else could do the certifications. Tell them that. Get this guy out of there. Shouldn't
That's
have made
what
a
we've
loan
now
like that.
said.
Yeah, but after you've lost the $200,000, right?
Well, we'll see if we've lost anything. Because it's a fee office, and again, we'll probably be reimbursed from those fees.
Does Cook County government need to be made more transparent?
Absolutely. The contract
Does
side
it start
especially.
does it start at the top? With the president?
Absolutely.
Your tax returns, are they going to be made available?
Absolutely, if I'm president of the county board.
Right now, August 9th, 2009. Right now, make them available. They filed in the spring, right? Did you file your tax returns?
I have an extension. I'll be filing my last year's returns
August
later
15th?
Probably October 15th.
Are you going to make them available on October 15th?
If I'm a candidate for this office, absolutely.
Okay, you'll make them available October 15th.
That's right.
Schedules, everything, okay.
I don't have any problem with that. I mean, look, transparency is what's important.
What's
Money
your
is
net
important.
worth? Are you going to tell people your net worth?
They can see what my net worth is. That's no problem.
No, they can't see. It doesn't say it on your tax
No.
return.
Well, I file my economic disclosure
Does
statement.
that state your net worth?
It certainly gives them enough indication of it.
Well, what is it? Just tell us right now. August 9th, 2009.
I don't
your net
know.
worth, Larry Suffredin.
I mean, I don't know.
More than $1 million?
It's more than $1 million.
More than
sure.
$2 million?
It could be close.
More close to $2 million?
Yeah.
More than $5 million?
No.
Okay, $2 million.
Yeah. I've been a very
You're a
successful
lobbyist.
lawyer.
You're a lobbyist.
No, I'm a lawyer. I'm a
But
very
you've been a
successful
lobby-
lawyer.
have you been a lobbyist?
Look, you want to
You're
call
very
me a
successful.
lobbyist? A lobbyist is somebody who's required to register. Okay, I have been a lawyer whose practice has taken me into situations where the law required me to register as a lobbyist, and I have done that.
You lobby. You don't apologize for being a lobbyist.
I don't apologize for being a lawyer. I don't apologize for being a lobbyist. I represented clients in a forthright and positive manner.
And you don't think there's ever been a conflict in terms of the lobbying you've been doing?
None at all.
As opposed to what you need to do?
I'm extremely
in your
careful.
7 years as a Cook County board member.
Absolutely none. I am extremely careful.
You're going to continue to lobby when you're president of the Cook County
No,
board?
that becomes a full-time job.
Why is there a conflict then? Just because it's a full-time job?
No, it's not a conflict. I'm elected to a part-time job now.
Okay.
This is not a job that requires
Right now,
your full
you're a
attention.
partner at Shefsky and Freilich?
I am.
Law firm here in town?
I did.
Good law firm?
It's a good law firm.
You've been there either working out of that office or now a partner for how long? 12 years?
Well, I've been a partner there since 2002, and I've officed there part of the time. I was just a tenant since 1994.
Okay. Dick Devine was at that place.
Dick Devine was there, but he and I never were in the law firm together.
All right. You ran for state's attorney.
I did.
Came within 7,000 votes of winning.
That's right.
Can you look people in the eye and say, this is the office you really want? Or would you have preferred to be state's attorney at Cook County?
Well, state's attorney is an office that I started looking at right after I got out of the service. It was something that I really wanted. This office I've grown into by being on the board. You know, I was expecting that today I'd be supporting Forrest Claypool for running for president of the county board, and Forrest decided not to run.
And you decided to.
You know,
But
Mike Quigley had been there for 11 years. Forrest and I had been there for 7. We had worked together on a number of things. My expectation was that I'd be supporting Forrest. You know, I'm in this race because I believe in the things we've done for 7 years, in reforming this government, in getting transparency, and looking at contracting, and looking at employment. The Shackman decree we're now under is the one I negotiated with Shackman as the designee of the board.
So you think you can make Cook County government work?
I absolutely can believe
it's
I
not
can
working now.
It is not working now.
Because of Todd Stroger?
Because of Todd Stroger.
Are there other reasons, or is it just Todd?
No, I think,
your view?
in my view, it's Todd Stroger. Leadership starts at the top. The president's role is to be the person who is the CEO and who can coordinate this $3.2 billion and the Forest Preserve. Let's not forget the Forest Preserve, which is an important part of this office, being president of the Forest Preserve.
You support the 2016 Olympics in Chicago?
I have supported them, yes. I've been to 7
Have you heard
Olympics
people
myself.
say that's ethnic cleansing to get those African Americans who live in that
I don't
expensive
believe that.
lakefront property away from there, send them somewhere else?
I
And,
don't believe that.
Some of the friends of the high and mighty politicians in town are going to eventually get that property.
You know, look.
Have you heard that?
Everybody hears that, but look.
Why is it not true?
I've been to 7 Olympics, okay? I've been to 4 summer and 3 winter Olympics as a spectator. I believe that the Olympics would be a positive thing for our community. The funding, the finances, and all that are really up to the city government to present.
Cook County has backed them up financially.
No, we have not backed anybody up.
What was the vote that you took to back them up?
No. Our vote was to support their efforts and to enter into an agreement to use one of the forest preserves for a shooting contest. They're going to use
no financial guarantees.
No financial guarantees at all. We are not. The only 2 governments that have financial guarantees in this are the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. So we'll find out in October if we have it or if we don't.
Do you have a diverse inner circle?
Absolutely.
Who's your inner circle right now?
Well,
who are you running with?
Just my staff. I have an African American woman who runs my suburban office. I have.
What's her name?
Karen Shavers. She's been
involved?
with me 7 years.
Is she going to be involved in your campaign?
No, she'll not be involved in the campaign because I don't allow anybody who works for me. When you ask about my diverse inner circle,
tell me about the rest in your office as Cook County board member that demonstrates you have a diverse, not just on race, but on income, on geography, the whole thing.
Well, I represent the most diverse.
Tell me about your inner circle.
My inner circle is.
You mentioned one person. Who else?
Well, let's talk about my staff that I have. I have Alicia O'Neill, who's a lawyer, and Hollis Hanover, who are our lawyers who have been handling all of our real estate assessment needs for our clients.
Where do they live?
They live on the north side of the city of Chicago. Are we running out of time? Is that what's happening?
Well, we've got a few more minutes. Keep
going. Okay, well, I've hired a number of other people who work in the office, African Americans, who are reaching out to the Rogers Park constituents, the Evanston constituents. My inner circle is made up of people from throughout my district, from Rogers Park, Evanston. I mean, those are the people I go to. I have task force.
What about your campaign? Who's going to be your inner circle in that campaign?
We're working on that right now.
You don't have names to throw out.
I have no names to give you.
Is it going to be diverse geographically?
It'll be more diverse.
It's not going to be
just like my state's attorney's race was.
No,
not the state's attorney race didn't have that. I was all over the place.
And so, and you're confident. This is a government. You're going to get down from 26,500 to 22,000 employees.
From
24,500 to 22,000.
It is easily done.
And right now, you don't like Todd Stroger. You like Mayor Daley? 1 to 10. What would you give Mayor Daley?
5. I think the mayor has not done a very good job in the last 5 years.
Is the patronage that occurs in Cook County, is it related to the patronage in the city of Chicago?
I think it did earlier when John Stroger was around. I don't think it has with Todd because I don't think Todd interacts with anyone.
So, and the way you win this race politically, what do you do?
I do exactly the same things except a little better than I did in the state senate. I need to work the lakefront. I'm the only suburban candidate in this race. I have to make the suburbs understand that this is their chance to take over this government. The suburbs have not had a president since actually Bill Erickson, who was from Evanston in the 50s.
Is it important to the suburbs because of the high taxes they pay, or is it important because
of the services they need?
What services do the suburbanites get out of Cook County government?
Well, we're getting more and more health care services. They also need to know that the assessment process is fair, and they also need to know that the forest preserves.
What do you say to those African Americans on the south side? Why should they vote for Suffredin?